And now, to give us a little more in-depth about our license plate program, we give you the TFTA education consultant, Molly Pratt.
Good morning. I'm glad that you all are joining us again for another Arts Advocacy Day. I wanted to tell you a little bit about a legislative update before I talk to you a little bit about the specialty license plate program. This year, the General Assembly came to town in early January and had hopeful plans of finishing by mid-April. Unfortunately, they had to take a week off in January because of the snowfall that occurred. And so it looks like they're back on track for an April closure, but it's probably going to be closer to the 25th or 26th of April before they finish. In late January, last month, the governor proposed his budget for this year, which is $52.6 billion. And in terms of activity around that discussion, the finance committees in both the Senate and the House are preparing budget hearings and listening to the different departments and organizations speak to the Finance Committee about their plans and what's included in the governor's budget. And then we should see the governor's supplemental budget arrive sometime in late March, which will tie up all the loose ends from the administration's perspective. And then we'll see people move towards closing probably in that third week of April. What you're going to probably see in the newspaper is people talking primarily about, I think, the hot button issue this session is going to be around the governor's proposed freedom scholarships, which are outside of the education formula for funding, but is something that he is promoting in terms of individual stipends, for lack of a better way to describe it, for a lottery type situation where families can apply for around $7,000 in order to promote his ideas surrounding school choice. That's probably going to get the most attention. But of course, we always turn our attention to the specialty license plate program. And again, we're fortunate this year to have Chairman Becky Massey and Chairman Dan Howell in the House carry an omnibus bill, which will be amended with all the new proposed specialty license plates. Senate Bill 1593 by Chairman Massey and House Bill 1608 by Chairman Howell in the House will probably start moving towards the end of March when the standing committees will begin to shut down. The reason why they wait a little while to be able to pass that bill is to give all the legislators time to file any amendments or, in this case, proposed license plates before they wrap it up, roll it up, and then pass it as one bill on the floor. So in the past, one of the things that we have talked about each Arts Advocacy Day, when we've been doing a virtual Arts Advocacy Day, is the history of the specialty license plate. A couple of years ago, you all were able to hear from the chief architect of the original program, now Congressman Steve Cohen, who was Senator Steve Cohen at the time he initiated the idea back in the 80s. We've also talked about the history of the 50-40-10 program, which is the primary funder of the specialty license plate program as we know it today. And we've talked a lot about that because Tennesseans for the Arts' main reason for existing is to promote and protect that formula. That the formula 50-40-10 means that the sponsoring organization gets 50% of the sale and the Arts Commission gets 40%. 10% goes to the highway fund. And so that is the mainstay for many of the grants that we give out here at the Arts Commission because it is an important component of the public funding and dedicated revenue that is used to support the arts. But what I want to talk to you all about today is something we haven't discussed, and that is the personalization of a specialty license plate, or a the personalization of a plate, any kind of plate for that matter. You know, there are two general plates, the blue plates that were recently introduced by the Lee administration. There's one that is perfectly plain, and then there is one that has the slogan, "In God We Trust." And right now in Tennessee, there's just south of 6 million plates total. And the one thing that is really important for you to know is that in terms of those 6 million plates, there are just south of 1 million specialty tags. So the good news about that is there's a lot of room for growth. And that's where you, as advocates and promoters of the importance of the specialty license plate program, can come into play. So the one piece that we've talked about in terms of the specialty plate program that we haven't really focused on in large measure is the personalization. Personalization is an extra $35 on top of the $35 it costs to get a specialty tag. That $35 minus the cost of production, and that number changes because of the cost associated with it, is pure revenue for the Arts Commission. It's pure revenue for grants to all of you and your colleagues in all 95 counties. And the reason why I wanted to talk to you about it today is it's someplace that I think we can see even more growth. And I would encourage you all to think about ways, if you don't have a personalized tag, to get one for yourself. And if you do, to not only promote a specialty tag for the arts, but to promote with your neighbor, friend, family member, specializing that by personalizing it and sending even more money to the arts. Now, the interesting thing about the personalization is the fact that online, and you all may know that you cannot order a specialty tag online. You have to go to the clerk's office. But if you get a specialty personalized tag, it can be done online, which in essence could possibly save you a trip to the clerk's office. If you live in a smaller community, you might be able to get your clerk online or on the phone and find out whether or not they have the specialty tag that you want to purchase. But if you can't, if you live in a larger suburban or urban county, it's very difficult to get a live person on the phone. So you may trot down to the clerk's office and find that they don't have the plate you want in stock. But if you go online to the Tennessee Department of Revenue, and we'll put this on our website too, you can order a personalized plate, pay the first $35, and then when it is available and ready for your pickup, you make one trip to the clerk's office, and there you would pay the additional $35 for the specialty portion of the tag. The one thing that I think is really important is that pure revenue that we haven't really talked too much about, and all the different ways that it could be helping us promote the arts all across the state. So I hope you'll give personalization your own consideration if you don't have a personalized plate. And if you do, encourage someone else to do it. It's easy to do. You can give them 3 choices because they have to check to make sure that no one else has that particular personalization already in use. And you just fill out the form. You can choose between 3 and 5 letters, and they center it up. So for those of you who are particularly concerned about aesthetics, it will be centered on your plate properly, and then they'll produce it and have it ready for you to pick up. Now, the other thing I'm going to tell you, because I just recently got my new specialty tag, is don't forget when you get to your clerk's office, you have to have your plate in hand. So be sure and take a screwdriver or a wrench or whatever you need to be able to get the bolts off your tag, and make sure that that is ready to be taken off when you get there. Otherwise, you're going to make a trip in and you're going to find out you don't have everything you need, which is the plate you're taking off your car. And then you have to go back out. And if you're like me, you have to crawl in your trunk, get into your tire kit, find a wrench, and then wave somebody down because you didn't have enough strength in your arm to be able to get the lugs off. So I'm giving you all fair warning that you can prepare and be ready to roll, and it makes it even easier. So I hope you'll consider encouraging other people in your organization or around your circle of friends, and do one more thing for the arts. You're doing a lot and we appreciate it, but we've always said, support the arts, bolt them to your car. And this is another way that you can do that, by personalizing your plate. Hope you all have a great rest of the day. You're going to hear from lots of encouraging people who support the arts as well. And you're going to learn that Tennessee is doing great. But we can't stop. We need to keep going. Thanks so much. Hope you all have a great day.